Hello again. So, right now we are asking ourselves the question, which natural resource do seeds need in order to germinate? Is it water, sunlight, air, or soil? You finished making your hypothesis, so now it is time to think about how we will set up our fair test. Oh, hello, Pi. Are you here to show everybody how we're going to set up our fair test? Oh, wonderful. I'm so happy you joined us. Okay, friends, so this is how we are going to set up our fair test. First, we will ask ourselves, what is the one thing we're changing? What's the one thing we're changing, Pi? Oh, right. The one thing that we're changing is the natural resource that each seed is receiving. So that's the only thing that changes, and then everything else in the experiment stays exactly the same. So for this experiment, you will obviously need some seeds. I recommend using beans because beans just grow the fastest. So I have some red kidney beans. You could use lima beans. You could use black beans. Any dried beans that you have in your pantry will work. If you don't have beans for your seed, for your seeds, that's okay. You can just look inside a fruit because fruits have seeds. So open up a lemon or a cucumber or a tomato or anything else where you can find at least 4 identical seeds for your version of the fair test. Again, the beans will grow faster, but anything from any other fruit will still work. It will just take a little bit longer, which is fine. Okay, so you need your seeds, then you also need soil. If you don't have soil, don't worry. You will just do only 3 variables for this experiment, not 4, but I happen to have soil. You will also need a little bit of water and a paper towel to get wet, and you will need 4 plastic Ziploc bags. So I've actually labeled these 4 plastic Ziploc bags with each variable. So I labeled it with Sharpie, beans with soil, beans with water, beans with sun, and beans with air. So right now I'm going to set up my fair test, and you can look at how I'm doing it, do it exactly the same, or do your own take on it as long as you're being as fair as possible and you're being an honest scientist. So anyway, this bag right here, beans with air. So you can choose however many seeds you want for each of your bags, but make sure whichever number you choose, it is the same for each bag. So if you're putting 3 beans in a bag, 3 beans needs to go in every single bag because the quantity of seeds is not the variable we are testing. So I'm going to put in 3 seeds, and oh my goodness, I happen to breathe out the thing that plants breathe in, so let me put some air in the bag and close it up and make sure there's as much air as possible. I'm gonna do one of these. There we go. So I have my bag with just seeds and air. That one's done. Next, I need beans with sun. So again, I'm going to choose 3 seeds because that's the number I chose. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to squeeze out all of the air because I don't want there to be 2 variables in this bag. I only want there to be sunlight. So squeeze out all of the air, and then you can use a piece of tape to put your bag in a sunny spot. I'm going to place mine right there. Next, we have beans with water. So for this, you're going to need your paper towel. We don't want to put water directly into the bag because then it will be too much water and it might mold. So what you're going to do is take a paper towel, squeeze it out all of the way until it doesn't drip at all anymore. There you go, and then you are going to shake it out. There you go, so it's damp but not too much water. That is going to cause unwanted living things to grow inside. You put that paper towel inside of your bag, and we chose 3 seeds. 1, 2, 3. Squeezing all the air out of the bag because that's not the variable we're testing. We're isolating just water, that's it. I'm going to place that to the side. And now we have beans with soil. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 beans, and I'm going to put in a little bit of soil. There we go. I'll squeeze all of the air out. Now, in addition to squeezing all of the air out, we also need to make sure that the only bag that's getting sunlight is the bag labeled sunlight. So actually, these bags I need to put in a dark spot. I'm going to put them inside of a sock because that works for me. You could put them in a box, you could put them in a drawer, anywhere where they will not get any sunlight. So I'm gonna shove that down my sock. I am going to take my beans with water, place that in my sock because it will get no light. And I am going to put this in my sock drawer, and then my bag with air, I'm actually not going to put into the sock because then all of the air is going to come out. So I'm going to put both of these things just in my sock drawer, and I'm only going to check on them when my data chart tells me to, which brings me to the data chart that we are now using for this experiment. So if you already set up your experiment, then you are going to make this table. You can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns and 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. I wrote the natural resources in the left-hand column. I labeled the column natural resources. Then with a picture, I wrote sunlight, soil, water, air. And then these columns I labeled day 1 observations, day 4 observations, day 7 observations. And you'll notice that at the bottom, I left a space where you can write the date that you are making your observations. So if today is Tuesday, May 26th, 2020, you are going to write that right here for day 1 observations and then write exactly what you saw for each of your 3. Obviously, the beans are still dry and they do not look any different than they looked straight out of the bag. So when I'm recording my observations, I'm going to write or draw in detail exactly what I observed. So actually, I'll probably take some time though to make a nice observational drawing of just one of these bean seeds because I really want to see how quickly they grow, and I want to see exactly how they grow and what details emerge, and if you see the same patterns with a bunch of different seeds and in different individuals in the same species. All right, so friends, this experiment is going to take a full week, which means you are not writing your conclusions this week, which I guess is a good thing because then you could just make sure you do the experiment really well, focus on your evidence this week, and we will do our conclusions next week. Because if today was day 1 and you're starting on Tuesday, you will make day 4 observations on Friday and then day 7 observations on Monday. So if you start the experiment on Tuesday and you finish up on Monday, that gives you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to work on your conclusions. And there will also be an optional live lesson for you to come to that will also help you enhance your conclusion. So that is our fair test, guys. You get to choose your 4 baggies, set it up, record your observations after 1, 4, and 7 days, and then we're going to loop in, talk about it, and see what happens. Which one do you think is going to germinate? I don't know. I'm going to go put my bags into a drawer right now, and I will see you soon in my conclusion video. Bye.